What's up? What's up? Morning. Morning. I just woke up, took my morning poop, scrolling through Twitter. I've been, some people will say it's a bad idea to go on Twitter first thing in the morning. And if I don't do what I need to do to ground myself, then yes, it is a bad idea because there's a lot of shit on Twitter, right? But I realized something today, and I posted it actually. So I think that Twitter is the catalyst for change in our culture. I think Twitter is the one platform because they didn't really introduce an algorithm where people can actually have conflicting points of view and out in the open where anybody can see it. So truth will always resonate out from Twitter. And it's one of the weird platforms because when most people go on Twitter, all they see is violence, negativity, just a lot of shit, right? And some people will say, well, don't go on Twitter because Twitter isn't real life, right? So Twitter is everybody else's world. So if you look around, it's probably kind of nice where you are, It's nice where I am, right? But the thing is Twitter is a representation of the collective consciousness of the world. And it's a good way for somebody who isn't tapped in to the whole world to understand kind of what's going on, right? So when you go on Twitter, you can see hashtags that are trending everywhere. And, what's trending right now on Twitter, right? Well, 2020 riots. Well, why is that trending? Well, if you do a little research into it, you'll see, right? And so Twitter doesn't make shit up. Okay, so some people on Twitter may make shit up, but Twitter as a whole doesn't make shit up. And so I've been paying more attention to that platform because it seems the one platform where you can actually get a real idea of what's going on, not somebody's false impression or somebody's, take of what's going on or whatever. It's not like Instagram or TikTok where it's all people trying to fucking flaunt and posture, right? So when I'm on there, man, it's really fucking hard to stay positive, right? It's really hard to stay positive. And when I was a kid growing up, I found it to be the same way. It was very, very hard to stay positive. And so Twitter kind of brings me back to that. And what it realized, and I've realized this as a kid, is my personal state may not reflect the reality of the outside world, right? And so what does that mean? Well, it means that I can feel a certain way and the outside world can be completely fucking different, right? So when I was a kid, my environment was really hectic and chaotic, but it was for me to ground myself. So I made sure that whatever I could do, I could ground myself. But I was a kid, so I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. And that's how I feel when I'm on Twitter, right? And so my main point for kind of rambling about that is I know that a lot of people feel that way when they go on Twitter. And the reality of the situation is you feel that way because you're acknowledging real issues in the collective consciousness. And it's making you feel a certain way because you're what you thought turned out to not be true, right? And so the phrase is cognitive dissonance. It causes some dissonance. It causes some tension in your mind. And that is why people don't want to go on Twitter, because it shows them the reality of the world. It shows them how the world really is, not how they want it to be. And man, I mean, I've been seeing this since I was a kid. I joined the fucking army and went to Afghanistan. I've quote unquote traveled the world. I've been a lot of places, and the shit I've seen pretty much tells me that everywhere you go, people are the same. Everywhere you go, people are the same. And, I recognize this in school, that the vast majority of us are pessimistic. The vast majority of us, we don't even like to congratulate people when something good happens to them, right? So I know that the underlying conversation that's going on right now is about racism, but I think that humanity has a problem. So we talk about how our country has a problem with racism. I think humanity has a problem with negativity. I think that racism is I don't think racism is a root cause of our problems. I think that we as people are the root cause of our problems, and then we become racist, right? So what am I saying? What does that mean? Well, basically, I think that some people in our world, by their environment, by their DNA, by their nature, are pessimistic by nature, right? And so if you guys read Robert Greene, he'll talk about this a lot, how most people are naturally pessimistic. There are some who are naturally optimistic, right? And then there are people like me who are naturally pessimistic, but their environment forced them to change their nature to be optimistic. So for me, let's put it this way. If you're living in a stable environment, you have the opportunity to be pessimistic, okay? If you are living in an unstable environment, you don't really have the opportunity to be pessimistic. So basically, the only way, if you're living in a stable environment, you could argue that your life's not really going to get much better, right? And so you kind of want to stay where you are. And so this goes back to how people are by their nature. They don't really want to change. Most people don't like change, right? And so if you have a good environment going on, then you're probably going to be pessimistic for change. You're not going to want that. You're going to be like, the grass is not greener on the other side. My grass is fine over here, right? But if you're living in a chaotic environment, if you're living in a really oppressed environment, then you have to make the flip. So there are, a lot of people in these chaotic environments remain pessimists, but if you notice, they never leave those chaotic environments. And so what I'm noticing is optimists, I think, are made. I don't think they're born. I think they're made. I think environments create optimists. And I think negative environments create the biggest and brightest optimists. But I'll put it like this. I'm one of 4 kids, okay? One of my siblings is living a pretty normal life. That's it. One of my siblings is living a normal life. I'm one of 4 kids. I'm one of 5 kids. And one of them is living a normal life. I have a kind of okay life. It's pretty normal. I do my job to make sure that it's as stable as possible. But for the other 3 of them, they had no chance. They never stood a chance. And that's because, some people aren't able to make that flip, the switch, and be an optimist. And so they stay pessimistic. So when you're in a negative environment and you're staying pessimistic, what's going to happen with you? Well, it's not going to be anything good, right? So I'm recognizing that the optimists in our world are finally collecting together and speaking up. So the thing is pessimism is always louder than optimism. It's always louder. It's always overshadowed. It's probably 10 to 1, right? That's how I think of it. So 1 optimist for 10 pessimists. And so, when you're in school, maybe you hung out with 3 people that were kind of nice and the rest were assholes, right? That's the split. And so the real opportunity here for those of us who are aware is to welcome the pessimists with open arms and to show them that, yes, shit is fucked up, right? It's always been fucked up, but it's getting better. And it's our responsibility to continue that progress. We can't slow down. We can't stop. We can't go back. It doesn't work that way. Too many people have died. Too many people have been imprisoned. Too many, like, the way our fucking world has been going on for the last 1,000 years, man, it's not been pretty, right? We haven't been very fucking nice to each other. Really, ever. And every single one of us knows that there's a new dawn on the horizon, right? And so the question now becomes, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be the one that says we can't change? There's nothing I can do by myself? Are you going to do that? Or are you going to be the one who their whole community rallies behind because they are the ones to take the initiative and bring the change forward, right? Are you going to be an optimist or are you going to be a pessimist? Are you going to say things are going to get better or are you going to say things are going to stay the same? And the question is, which one do you actually want? So, I know for me, and for the vast majority of the people I know, they can say what the fuck they want, but I know their heart and their core. Most people I know aren't happy at all. Not even a little close to happy. Like, you can see the pain on people's faces when you walk by them on the street. And the day I started noticing that was the day I realized what my responsibility in this world really was. It's not to bring major change or to get elected president or, have a million, whatever the fuck. No. It's to do everything that I can in every single moment to eliminate the negativity and spread the positivity. And that's it. So we all have a responsibility here. Every single one of us. Because this isn't just my responsibility. It's yours as well. Right? We can't continue to see negativity and just let it go. It doesn't work like that. Negativity will continue to push forward. It spreads. It's a virus. It's a disease. It's radioactive. Right? We can't do that anymore. So, what do? All we can do. We love each other. That is all we can do. Right? Fuck. Reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Spread the love. Like, we need community now more than ever. And it's hard because fuck Corona and now this shit, like, people are not gonna want to come together except for one reason, right? And we can't continue to do that. Like, we can't come together just to complain, because we know what happens when a group decides to complain about shit. We need to come together with a plan. We need to start taking action. We need to run for office. We need to lobby the congressman. Right? Like, let's do the real shit that we know makes change. Right? Like, fuck, man. There's a lot of stuff that we can do once we stop thinking we're victims. There's a lot of stuff. Think of how many fucking black people right now that are out in the streets. Think of how many of those people could go and run for office. I bet you, if they do it year after year after year, they're gonna win. And what happens when they win? Shit starts changing. People start changing the laws. This country may be fucked up, but it's one thing. It's a law and order country. Well, shit, what do? We rewrite the fucking rules, man. It's that simple. If you don't like how it is, change the fucking rules. So, I know that it's not easy to do this stuff. I registered to run for Congress in January. And then I realized, well, fuck, man, I have absolutely no money. There's no way I'm going to be able to campaign. But it doesn't matter, man. It's the little steps. It's the intention that you hold. It's the progress you make every day. The meditation you do, the breath work you do, the deciding not to react. That shit, that's where the gold is. And you can think about it from a personal and selfish perspective, or you can think about it from a collective consciousness perspective. Either way, it's always going to be the right thing to do. So that's all I got. But man, I'm telling you guys, we are not living in the same world we were living in on January 1st. We're just not. We're just not. On January 1st, I was in the Philippines for my girlfriend's father's funeral. And I'm telling you, when I came back into a new reality. Like, the world we're not living in is not the same world it used to be. And so we can't continue to act like it was. It's time for all of us to start changing everything. Now, for us business owners, we started recognizing this 3 months ago, when the Corona thing started, and we were like, oh shit, we got to completely change. But it's not about business. It's everything. Us as individuals need to change everything about us. And the ones who won't do that are the ones who are going to be left behind. It's going to be the same people who are jobless, the same people who go unemployed. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you don't decide to make a change yourself, nothing's going to change. That's all I got to say.